What's up, basketball fans? Welcome to the Verdach Report. It's time to talk about the Toronto Raptors because they are bringing back a familiar face on a two-way contract that has decided to return to the Toronto Raptors. So I'm going to be discussing him. I'm also going to be discussing why this is a good move for the Raptors and what the Raptors will do now with one roster spot open and one spot open for the two-way contract. So if you're ready to watch this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you wish to hit the subscribe button as well, that'd be very much appreciated. So with that being said, let's get into today's video. Now, as you guys know, I do like to give out shout outs on my channel, and the shout out for today's video goes out to RS Bandy. So RS, thank you so much for supporting this channel through your likes and comments. It is very much appreciated. And shout out to Adrian Wojnarowski for breaking this on Twitter. And it was being reported forward Ron Harper Jr. has agreed on a new two-way contract to return to the Toronto Raptors. Drew Gross of Rock Nation Sports tells ESPN. Harper Jr. averaged 17 points, 5 rebounds in his rookie season with the Raptors G League affiliate. Now, Ron Harper Jr. is a 6'6" guard. I don't want to say he's a small forward. He can technically play that position, but he's not a great defensive player. But he's also 23 years old. So I know it's not a move that's going to be, a hidden gem. It's not going to be someone that's going to be an all-star. I'm not saying he can't be, but the likelihood of that happening is very slim. But it is important to talk about Ron Harper Jr. before we discuss why it was very important for the Raptors to bring him back. So taking a look at his stats with the Toronto Raptors last season, you'll notice, of course, his limited playing time, which was very common for a lot of the young players on the Raptors last season. Nine games, 5.3 points, 50% from the field, not too shabby. His three-point percentage wasn't all that great. Could be, contributed to limited minutes, limited opportunities as well. 33.3% from the three-point line. Free throw percentage was, obviously 100%. It is what it is. He probably didn't shoot very many free throws. But what is important to note, and that is something, is his ability to score points. 2.2 points in 5 minutes is not shabby at all. But I want to expand his statistical categories a little bit because we know he played a lot more in the G League. And let's take a look at those stats here. Now, this gives you a better picture of Ron Harper Jr. if you're more into statistics like me. When you take a look at his stats here, in about 31.6 minutes with the Raptors G League team, he shot about respectable. Again, 50% from the field. His three-point percentage was a lot better, 36.6%. His free throw percentage, again, I feel like it could get a little bit better. 77% isn't too shabby, but it's not great either. But look at those rebounds. Look at the assist column. 5.1 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal a game, 1.2 blocks a game, and most importantly, 16.7 points per game. Now, this gives you a little bit of an idea of what Ron Harper Jr.'s game is like. He was an undrafted player who chose to sign with the Raptors. And I mean, it's not a typical type of prospects the Raptors look to either draft or sign through, undrafted guys. When you look at the Raptors draft history, they normally sign guys or draft guys that are based more on defense first, guys that aren't great scorers. But Ron Harper Jr. is different. He's a score first guy, and he isn't the greatest defensive player. Now, it's important for the Raptors to retain him because when you look at the draft prospects the Raptors have, not only from, Grady Dick, but even from the past, you have seen that the Raptors have lost a lot of that over the season, whether it was Terrence Davis and Jalen Harris due to off-court issues, whether it's Delano Banton, leaving the Raptors, or Justin Champagnie being asking for his freedom or, to being unlocked and then being waived by the Raptors. It is very important to retain players, especially given that the Toronto Raptors don't have any picks. They have 0 picks going into next season unless they're bottom 6 in the league next season, which I can't see. Even if the Raptors do trade Pascal Siakam, I just don't see them being bottom 6 in the league because we know their first-round pick belongs to the San Antonio Spurs and the second-round draft pick next year belongs to the Memphis Grizzlies as well as part of that Marc Gasol trade. So retaining someone like Ron Harper Jr. is very key for the Raptors. Again, you cannot emphasize enough on this. When you look at the Raptors roster overall, you know that a lot of these guys aren't going to be long-term guys. Obviously Scotty, you got Gary, OG, Yak up there. But when you look at the bench, it isn't all that great. So you need to be able to retain prospects, especially given that you're not going to have any picks next year. And sure, look, you can definitely sign undrafted guys, but I think Ron Harper Jr. is important in the Raptors system. You need to be able to retain these guys and build them over the years. And again, if there's any indication of what he's done in the G League, it shows you that he's a score first guard. Even taking a look at some of his stats in college, you'll notice that he's someone that can score in multiple ways. I don't want to say he's a 3-level scorer, but he's very close. Like, he can hit those threes. He's great at shot creation, which is something the Raptors need. He can hit the jump shots. He can hit fadeaway jump shots as well. He can attack the basket as well. And that's something the Raptors desperately need in their system as well. And again, I'm not saying that Ron Harper Jr. is a future star player. I'm not saying he's an all-star player even, but it's important to retain guys like this. 23 years old, doesn't turn 24 until next springtime. So it gives you a little bit of time to work him in your system. Especially, you've got to give him an opportunity under Darko as well. So it's very important to bring back guys like Ron. I think he's going to have a very under the radar season. I'm not saying he's going to be a key contributor off the bench, but when we do see him, you'll see his game has progressed a lot. I think he's one of those players that can definitely take his game to the next level under Darko as well. But it is important to talk about the roster spots now, because there's one particular player that a lot of Raptors fans have had their mind on, even going back into last season. And that is Jeff Doughton Jr. Now, we know Masai announced that Jeff Doughton, at the end of the season, he announced that Jeff Doughton will be part of the Toronto Raptors in the future. So it's important to note, I mean, the Raptors have one roster spot open and one two-way contract. They currently have Marquise Noel, and now they have Ron Harper Jr. Locked into those two-way contracts. So where does Jeff Doughton fit into this? Is he going to be okay coming back on a two-way contract? But I do want to say, again, I really like Jeff Doughton. This isn't a shot at Jeff Doughton, but when you take a look at the Raptors shooters, it's just not there, right? So again, you definitely want guys like Jeff Doughton in your system that are, very high IQ basketball players, make the right decisions, and it just gives you a little bit more size at the point guard position as well. So I think it's important that, we take all things into consideration. I think realistically speaking, if we could get Jeff Doughton on that two-way contract, it would be amazing. And then maybe sign some sort of shooter that the Raptors could bring in, right? So again, the roster and how its ability to shoot three-point, or I should say lack of ability to shoot three-point ball, really does depend on, what the moves the Raptors make in the rest of the offseason. We know those Pascal Siakam rumors as well. So again, not one of those signings that's going to make your jaw drop. But Ron Harper Jr., I just personally believe him. I've seen some of his highlights. I know he's capable of a lot more, and I think he has a bright future with the Raptors. He could be a key contributor off the bench, right? So, and again, like some of the reasons I've mentioned, right? Delano Banton, Justin Champagnie, Jalen Harris, you lost Terrence Davis. Like, look at the amount of prospects you lost over the years. And of course, I'm not saying David Johnson is someone we should have retained, but it seems like the Raptors system compared to now, when you compare it now to before, it seemed like we're not retaining guys for long enough to even develop long enough to see how they do at the NBA level as well. So I think it's good to bring Ron Harper Jr. back. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. So what are your thoughts on this, signing of bringing him back on a two-way contract? Are you excited to see him? Would you rather have had someone else? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, I do have a trivia question for you today. And the trivia question for today is, which player on the Raptors roster did not play college basketball in America? Was it A, Precious Achiuwa? Was it A, Dennis Schroeder? Was it C, Thad Young? Or was it G, Jeff Doughton? So whoever answers this trivia question correctly first in the comment section gets a shout out in my next video. So that will be it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. To your likes and comments, it's always appreciated. If you want to hit the subscribe button as well, I'd appreciate that very much as well. So that will be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys have yourselves a great day.